Hi, welcome to Botanical Woman. My name is Christine, and I almost killed my Hoya Polyneura, but then I rescued it. So it's okay now, I think. In this video, you will join me on my 6-week propagation journey. I was very fortunate to get a rooted Polyneura through a trade. This plant can be very hard to find depending on where you live. And because it is very sought after, it comes with a not very wallet-friendly price tag. And that's not surprising. The demand is fueled by its fishtail-shaped leaves, making it one of a kind. And the veins only accentuate its beauty. This is my second Polyneura. The first one had root rot and I didn't realize it right away, so I wasn't able to save it. This is why it's important to examine your plant very closely when you first get it. The soil was really moist when I took it out, and it's been traveling in the dark for a few days, which is definitely a recipe for root rot. If you're looking for one of these, I recommend getting a rooted one with at least 2 nodes, but obviously the more nodes the better, because if it does rot, you can always cut it and save the good part. So this one has 5 nodes, making it a really awesome trade. And a pair of leaves even has some splash on it. I'm excited to see if any of the new growth will carry this splash as well. To take care of this princess, I decided to put it in a clear box to keep it in a high humidity environment. And then all these roots popped out. Initially, I had no intentions of propagating this plant. I just wanted to keep it alive. But all these roots are just asking to be potted up. And I really couldn't pass up on the idea of making a fuller plant. Plus, I love maximizing growth. So here we go. And of course, don't forget to subscribe if you want to see more videos like this in the future. The propagation. At first look, the leaves were a bit wrinkly, not plump, which is a sign that something is wrong since the medium is still very moist. So checking for root rot is a must. It is not always easy to differentiate dead roots from healthy ones. White ones are definitely healthy, but what about the brown ones? Because a lot of times I get Hoyas that come with a lot of brown roots. They can't all be dead, right? If you have a good way of telling them apart, please share in the comments below. I would love to hear from you. Before making your cut, make sure to sterilize your scissors. You don't want to infect your precious cuttings, which can lead to rot. Use a lighter, alcohol, or hydrogen peroxide. Make sure you also use sharp scissors to get a clean cut. I made 1-node cuttings, which I cut as close to the node as the scissors would allow. However, if you have longer stems, it is advised to cut at least 1 centimeter above the node, just in case there's rot or mold developing. As for the mother plant, I left it attached with 3 leaves and 2 nodes, since the top stem was pretty young. It is not worth the risk. I prefer 1-node cuttings because it maximizes potential growth per node. Every 1-node cutting can grow 1 or 2 new stems. However, with multiple node cuttings, you are likely to only get new growth at the highest node. Dip it in some rooting hormone if you like. I feel like it helps seal the wound. I'm using my DIY potting medium and these small 2-inch pots. They will hold less moisture, which is good, as they will be living in high humidity environments. I love the shape of this little pot. I got it from one of my orders and I haven't seen it around. It's a high quality nursery pot and I really like the unique shape. They will live inside a propagation box with a heating mat. I open the lids every 3 days or so to refresh the air and check in on everyone. I will water them a little bit, but not drench them, as the medium does retain a lot of moisture. I expect to see some new growth anywhere between 4 to 6 weeks. 4 weeks later. Overall, there are signs of new growth from all the cuttings. 4 of the 6 cuttings have new growth nubs growing from each of them, which means a new stem will emerge soon. 2 of the cuttings put out new stems and leaves. However, 2 of the baby leaves turned yellow and dropped off, and 1 of the adult leaves turned slightly yellow, which is a bit worrying. I used to think that large cuttings like this one with 3 leaves and 2 nodes and roots would be the first to produce new growth. But in this case, my largest cutting has developed the least amount of growth. Obviously, this is only one anecdote, so it's hard to draw conclusions from. I would love to hear about your experience and thoughts on this. Overall, it's great that all the cuttings are showing signs of new growth. However, the yellowing leaves is not a good sign, so a root check is in order. Root check, root check, root check, root check. Unfortunately, I indeed found some root rot. Some of the medium was still quite wet, which is definitely not good. Cocoa coir combined with the high humidity environment is too much moisture for these roots. So it's good that we're discovering this now. I could repot these into a more well-draining medium. However, I've decided to repot them in semi-hydro instead to give it a try. It gives the roots more airflow than keeping it in dirt, as well as more humidity. I also think the clear vessel is one of the nicest things about growing in leca. As a plant parent, you want to know what's going on with your planties, and when you're growing it with leca in a glass jar, you get to see the roots whenever you want, which is really cool. It is advised to remove all the medium before planting in leca, otherwise it may cause root rot later. There is still a lot of healthy white roots, so that's a good sign. Some of the roots on the mother plant doesn't look so great, so I'm going to be removing some of those. Once again, before removing the rot, don't forget to sterilize your scissors. The stems are kind of short, so I'm going to try not to cut too much. Hopefully it's enough to stop the rot. If you can cut further away from the rot, you should. The roots that feel hollow and mushy all need to be trimmed. I have high hopes that the plant will be happier in semi-hydro. Every time you change the plant's environment, it will take some time for it to adjust. If you'd like to learn more about semi-hydro, see the video I made going over the basics. 10 days later. It's now been 10 days since the transfer, and the Polyneura is liking her new home. There is visible new root development, some nice white plump ones. Yay! There is further stem development, and the yellowing of the leaves seem to have stopped. So everything is looking really good. I water the plants when the reservoir is empty, and that has been about once a week. They live in a box with the lid closed and a heat mat, and the LED light runs for 15 hours a day. It's been an amazing journey with this little plant, and I've learned so much. Hopefully you have too. If you have any questions, please comment below, and hit the subscribe button if you'd like to grow along with us. Until next time, happy growing!